On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, a massive coordinated assault on Iran, marking the start of a full-scale war. The opening strikes targeted Iran's top leadership and military infrastructure, killing Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and crippling command centers in Tehran and Isfahan. Over 1,700 targets were hit in hours, demonstrating overwhelming technological superiority and leaving Iran's government in chaos. As the dust settled, the world waited anxiously to see who would lead Iran's response amid the sudden power vacuum. This war was years in the making, fueled by broken nuclear agreements, proxy conflicts, and escalating distrust. Tension simmered beneath the surface as diplomatic efforts repeatedly failed, and each side accused the other of deception and aggression. The U.S. withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018 and renewed sanctions pushed Iran to accelerate its nuclear program, alarming both Washington and Tel Aviv. The collapse of the agreement marked a turning point, as hopes for peaceful resolution faded and the region braced for instability. After a series of proxy clashes and a pivotal Israeli strike in 2025, President Trump authorized direct U.S. military involvement, shifting policy from containment to confrontation. The decision sent shockwaves through the international community, raising fears of a wider regional war. Iran, anticipating conflict, had spent decades building up missile arsenals, fortifying sites, and preparing for a potential showdown with its adversaries. It also empowered regional proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis, weaving a network of allied forces ready to act at a moment's notice. The stage was set for a conflict where both sides believed they could absorb and retaliate against devastating blows, convinced that victory, or survival, depended on their resolve and readiness. Iran's response was immediate and overwhelming. Waves of missiles and swarms of drones struck U.S. military bases and Israeli cities, lighting up the night sky and sending shockwaves through the region. The world watched in disbelief as the conflict escalated with unprecedented speed and intensity. In a bold move, Iran declared the Strait of Hormuz closed, effectively choking off a third of the world's oil supply and trapping dozens of oil tankers at sea. This single act sent immediate ripples through global trade routes. Global energy prices soared overnight, with oil and gas costs spiking to record highs. Economic panic spread rapidly from Europe to Asia as markets tumbled and governments scrambled to respond. Iran escalated further, launching attacks on vital Gulf state oil infrastructure, crippling production and causing fires and chaos at key refineries. The threat extended to desalination plants, putting millions at risk of water shortages and destabilizing key U.S. allies and international investors in the region. The ripple effects threatened the very foundation of the petrodollar system, shaking confidence in global financial stability. U.S. tech markets faced a sudden crisis as Gulf investment dried up and uncertainty gripped Wall Street and Silicon Valley alike. Iran's strategy was clear: turn a regional war into a global economic crisis, forcing the world to confront the true cost of conflict in the modern era. The world realized this conflict would be fought not just with weapons, but with oil, economic leverage, and financial shockwaves that could reshape the global order for years to come. The war's human toll mounted rapidly, hundreds killed in Iran, civilians among the dead, and mass displacement across the region. Refugee numbers soared, straining neighboring countries and deepening the humanitarian crisis. In the U.S., Iranian Americans faced renewed scrutiny and anxiety as their homeland burned. Militarily, the U.S. and Israel struggled with costly missile defense, burning through expensive interceptors against Iran's cheap drones. Iran's attrition tactics exposed vulnerabilities in Western military doctrine, while the U.S. Navy found itself stretched thin across distant theaters. Analysts warned that economic warfare and unsustainable costs could tilt the conflict in Iran's favor, challenging assumptions about American military dominance. The war deepened political divides in the U.S., exposing rifts not just between parties, but within them as well. Fierce partisan battles erupted over the war's legality, its strategy, and the very role America should play on the world stage. Calls for ground troops grew louder, with some demanding decisive action, even as others warned of the risks of further escalation. Meanwhile, European allies urged restraint, their economies already shaken by turmoil and uncertainty, fearing the consequences of a wider conflict. Iran's leadership crisis fueled instability across the region, with protests and power struggles threatening to spiral out of control. President Trump's calls for regime change only inflamed tensions further, drawing sharp reactions both at home and abroad. The conflict quickly became a test of global order, challenging the ability of world leaders to find common ground. Economic disruption and political division now rivaled military might, as markets tumbled and daily life was upended for millions. In this new era, victory in the 21st century seemed to depend as much on resilience, adaptability, and disruption as on firepower alone. As March 2026 unfolded, the world watched anxiously, uncertain what the next day would bring. The specter of wider war, economic recession, and humanitarian disaster loomed over nations everywhere, touching lives on every continent. One thing was clear: these weeks had changed the world forever, leaving a legacy that would shape the future for generations to come.